my feelings on Star Trek Picard Seasons 1 and 2 can be summed up thusly.
Pain!
Brain and brain! What is brain?
I am not a merry man!
So I swore I would never waste another precious second on this abomination. But then I saw interviews with some true Trek insiders who hadn't yet become total shills, and they said the previews they'd gotten of Season 3 were really good, so I sat down to watch the first episode.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Now, guys, I know I'm really late to this party, but come on, can you blame me? Seasons 1 and 2 were atrocious. But episode 1 of season 3? It's pretty darn good. It's the first time this decade something felt like Trek, and there's a good reason for that. It's because, well, it's Wrath of Khan, guys. Come on, it's just Wrath of Khan. The first episode is the first act of Wrath of Khan with next-gen sprinkles minus the brainworms. Science Lady is doing science stuff with Science Son on a remote outpost. She sends a distress signal to an old flame who just happens to be the most famous living admiral in Starfleet, who then goes to her aid only to come face-to-face with an enemy ship ready to fire all pew-pews. Okay, you know what? I'm willing to roll with it. But they weren't even trying to hide the fact that they were doing Khan again. They seemed proud of it. The score, the money shots of the ship, for goodness sakes, font choices, and even some of the clothing are matches for the OG films and Next Gen. For goodness sakes, the ship they're on even looks like if the original Enterprise and the Reliant made a baby. And I wouldn't be surprised if a genetically modified villain and a second officer death were in the wings. But you know what? I don't mind. I know I'm being pandered to, but there's so much good going on here that I really don't mind that. The opening shots ease you in with soothing music by the ink spots and a slew of Easter eggs, relaxing old school fans as if to say, it's okay, the Kurtzman's gone now, and you're safe. We're going back to better days. Picard and Riker actually act like Picard and Riker instead of a broken old crybaby moaning out nonsensical monologues about destiny and Jonathan Frakes laughing his way through a paycheck. This is the first time we've seen these guys act like they're supposed to in 20 years. Oh, and also, in Star Trek there used to be an understanding that adults in positions of power should, I don't know, act like adults. But lately we've been getting quippy teenagers who think an order is what a Karen dismisses at Starbucks. But in this episode, officers act like officers instead of safe spacers who cry because their commander told them to do their job with a mean face. They understand the chain of command, and even when Captain Jerkface over here pushes their buttons, Riker responds like an adult in uniform instead of whining about it like they would on so many of these other shows. He shows strength and authority without screaming and crying. It's almost like this show is being written by adults instead of teens with mommy issues. Well, bless my heart, it's a Festivus Day miracle! Oh, and speaking of Captain Jerkface, I hope we see more depth given to this guy. There can be multiple levels to characters, and old Trek used to understand that. Hopefully, the new showrunners are given permission by their Paramountian overlords to try it now, instead of substituting crying and speeches for true depth. Because there's just so many stupid, weepy speeches on these shows. I'm gonna watch the rest of Season 3 unless it becomes a puke pile like the last two. But I'd like to know your thoughts, and please, as spoiler-free as possible, because, well, like I said, I've only seen the first episode, so let's be nice about this. Is this the right move for Star Trek, or is it too little too late? Comment below, calm my badge, and as always, happy viewing!